Hey, yo, it's me, Pops Van Marmalade, and you're watching the Comics-Related Madness Network. Uh-huh. So come get some. CromCon.
Hey, we want to shout out to our sponsors, Daytona Beach Comic Con. If you are a fan of comic books, if you're a fan of comic book conventions, and if you like meeting comic book creators and getting comics and comic-related stuff, then you need to make your plans to attend Daytona Beach Comic Con. This year's show is September 7th and 8th. Silverline will be there, so you should make your plans to be there too. We'll see you there. If you like comics and find yourself in the Orlando, Florida area, doesn't everyone come to Orlando at some point in time to see the House of Mouse? But when you're here, you need to make it a point to visit Coliseum of Comics, especially the one on East Colonial Drive. They carry Silverline Comics, even a limited edition Coliseum of Comics version of our comics. So, when you go, be sure to ask for Silverline Comics and tell them we sent you. OCD stands for Orlando Collector Deviants. OCD, Steve and Trish, they're a family of geeks who promote geek things, particularly those around the Orlando, Florida area. They're big supporters of Silverline, and we think you should be supporters of theirs too. Go give them some love. If you are an independent comic book maker and you need to get your independent comics made, you need to look no further than Kablam Digital Printing. They print our books, and they do a bang-up job. They're not only trusted by Silverline, but many, many independent comic book makers. Head on over to kablam.com and see for yourself just how easy it is to have your comic printed by them. And tell them Silverline sent you.
Hi, this is Tim TK, host of That Silverline Show on Tuesday. Join us at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific every Tuesday night as we discuss pop culture and the joys of making comics.
Hi, I'm Barb Gilbert, co-host of Silverline's Wednesday Wham. Join us each Wednesday nights as we discuss comics, literature, movies, and anything else that may catch our attention.
I'm Roland Mann, and I host Silverline's Silver Sunday. Join me every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern as we make mine Silverline. Everyone, and welcome to a Silverline Silver Sunday, this November 24th, 2024. I am your host, I'm Roland Man, and I am joined by that man in the mask guy, Mr. Mike W. Belcher. Say hello, Mike.
Howdy, howdy, howdy on this Sunday.
And we are joined by skipping Turkey Day and going straight to Christmas, Mr. Thomas Flormani Jr.
That's right. Done with Thanksgiving already. It's not even here yet. Done with it.
I haven't even had turkey or ham yet.
Do what?
Turkey is the worst of the birds.
I haven't had turkey or ham yet. So
yeah, you can have it. Isn't it the same thing that you're going to have for Christmas?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, you don't get ham flu. Like you get.
Well, I've never had turkey flu.
It's bird flu. It's the same category of flueness.
It sure is.
And we are also joined by, if you build it, kablam or print it, Mr. Tom Mason.
Hi everyone. Apologies for living in the haunted house.
Yeah, you're kind of spooky there.
I am. Oh, I'm still celebrating Halloween.
You're still celebrating Halloween?
Yeah, of course. I'm standing up.
He's got to go run off the ghost now.
Yeah. It's my part-time job.
Yeah.
Who are you going to call?
You're going to call Tom Mason. That's who you're going to call.
All righty then. Let me jump into a couple of things here before we jump into it. Guys, we've got a campaign going on. Let me toss this thing up there. You can see here, we need a whole bunch of you to jump over there. Now, we've still got 23 days to go, so we've got a while. But we need a bunch of you to jump over there and back. Look at this thing. All right, I'll get me up here. Look at this right here. Look at this. This is This is
Shiny.
our proof, right? So this is not the actual thing. This is our proof. Look at this beautiful cover here. Look at this. This is, you can only get this though if you back this campaign.
Yep.
It's the only way to get this. The only way you can get this is to back this campaign. Now, if you don't like the shiny, you can of course get regular editions. But I mean, come on, look at this.
Who doesn't like the shiny?
Right? I mean, look at that. And there's only going to be for those of you who don't know, we will print. We basically print to it's not quite print to order, but we print to backers. The retailers, the creators are going to get a total of about a dozen, and then however many backers we have get that. That's how many we're going to print. No more ever. What was that, Tommy?
Oh, and then you're done with them. We're not printing them anymore. Yeah, I deleted the file so that way we can't print them again.
Yep.
All gone.
So
Also, it's on. I mean, the way Kablam prints these is different from the way the other publishers print them, right?
yes.
So that's why it looks so good.
Yeah, that's right. It's because it's special printing
I mean,
technique.
so
Did you open the inside of that one? I put some good stuff on the inside.
no, I did not. I'm afraid to. I'm afraid to open the inside.
Oh,
my
Good
gosh.
times on rolling.
Yeah. I can't show this. So look at this beautiful cover. Also in news, this should be shipping out this week. We got this from Kablam, and it looks beautiful. And this actually is the interiors. This is
that one's got the real stuff on the inside.
yeah. So those of you who got your foil copy, these are going to be on the way. If you didn't get the foil, of course, there were these other two covers. Of course, this one by our pal. Whoops, our pal right here, Mr. Man in the Mike Belcher. Fantastic cover right here. I love this.
Not too bad.
Yep.
I like it.
I thought you did a great job. And then, of course, there's this one as well. And this one was by Dale Paris. So who's the interior artist. So these should be going out this week. So those of you who backed this campaign, start looking for these. Probably won't get it before Turkey Day. Probably going to be the next week. So enjoy your turkey and then start looking for your Teen Beetle packages. But meanwhile, jump over there and help us help Ron Fortier, Mike Belcher, Andrea Bormida, help them get to their goal. There's not an unreasonable goal. You guys can see they're only trying to get $750. So there's a couple of pieces of original art. Those of you who like original art, there's not a whole lot of original art to this issue. So jump over there and get that while you can.
Yeah, we're over halfway to the end. I mean, it's starting to cook.
Yes, that's right.
I did one of the covers for that one, didn't I?
You did. Yeah.
Roland says, ink this. And I go, okay.
Let me see if right there they are. There's the one that open.
Are you going to change those graphics out? Put the color.
Yeah, we're going to. We've got the colors now. Can you see that? That didn't change, did it? Anyway, yeah. So we're going to now that we have the colors, we're kind of waiting on the colors for the other cover, and then we'll announce both of we'll debut both of them. But I think Mickey Clausen is doing the colors for those, and so we should have both of those.
He put a really cool nebula kind of background back there. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, they look fantastic, and it's an awesome story. For those of you who are like, hey, I've never heard of Beyond the Stars before, no sweat. You can still get issues 1, 2, and 3. In fact, there's usually some sweet deals that you can get. It's our catch up deals, right? You can catch up and read the other issues that you have missed. So.
Also, isn't Ron Fortier on the Tuesday show?
Ron is on the Tuesday. Ron is a new addition to the Tuesday show. I think he's only been on there 2 or 3 weeks now. So you jump over there and ask him on, not today, obviously, because you can't today because he's not there because it's not Tuesday. But on Tuesday, this same channel on Tuesday, you can ask Ron Fortier all the questions you want to about Beyond the Star. And he'd probably let you even ask him questions about some of his old stuff, like the Green Hornet that he did in the 1980s. So, yeah, that's that Tuesday show. That Silverline show on Tuesday is the name of it. What about it, guys? Anybody else got any news?
Don't think so.
I got nothing.
All right.
I had something, but I forgot what it was.
So we're gonna do something different and fun tonight. So Tommy, I forgot to tell you, grab you a notepad. You're gonna need a little notepad. Everybody knows what Build-A-Bear Workshop is. They used to be all in the malls. I don't really have a mall anymore, so I don't know. You could probably use your computer too and type it up on a Microsoft Word doc. But I'm old school enough in that I still like my pencil and paper. You guys remember Build-A-Bear Workshop? What you would do is you would go in and you would grab an outfit, grab a carcass. I don't know the other word for it. And then you would stuff it full of stuff, right? And then you would decorate it with ears and eyes and all that kind of stuff. And you would build your own unique bear. It was a Build-A-Bear Workshop. Well,
I'm pretty sure the original name was Grab a Carcass.
Yeah. So tonight we're gonna build a hero, okay? And I've got a whole you can't see it. I've got a whole list of stuff right there, but I'm gonna put these guys on the spot. They didn't know I was going to do this. So
okay, notepad. What are we doing with it?
So you're gonna have to forgive them just a little bit because I am gonna put them on the spot. But we're going to go through the steps of building. Each of us.
Roberta's coming on. We should wait for her.
I'm not sure. You know what? If I knew how long we were going to wait, we could easily kill some time. But I don't know. When she says she's running late, does that mean 8:30? Does that mean 8:45? Does that mean
It'd be funny if it was 8:45.
And then we'd call her Agent Koepp then, right?
We should wait for her then, I guess.
Hey, don't forget to like and subscribe.
That's right.
Yep.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. I need to get one of those things that you can put up here like this. Welcome to the Silverline Show. That's Silverline. That's a Tuesday. Let's see here. Welcome to Silverline. Oh, I do have one. Look at that. Welcome to Silverlines and Silver Sunday. Please smash the like, share, retweet. Thank you so much. And remember to make mine Silverline.
I saw smash the like perform at CBGB's.
Yeah.
And hit that notification bell so you'll know when we're on.
That's right. That's
and
right.
if you don't like it, hit the down button twice to show them that you really don't like it.
That's right. Man, no wonder I couldn't see this. This was way up top. All right. So
because if you hit it twice, it turns the first one off. I just want you to
don't tell people that.
No, you turn it. You thumbs down it once, and then you thumb down it again, and it turns it off.
Don't give away the secrets.
That's right. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do tonight. Let me get the comics open back. They opened. David A. Scudera says they opened for Blondie, right, Tom?
Yes, they did. Before anybody knew who Blondie was, it was pre-Heart of Glass.
Yeah. So we're gonna build a hero tonight. All right. So I've got things, and I just kind of go over a couple of things here. I've got things like you might expect, right? Age, sex, race, build, personality. Before we were live, I talked about things like a visual quirk, right? We're going to do things like that, and each of us are going to build a character, and we're going to go through this session doing it. And you guys are going to come up with things as well to add to it, right? That we can all add. And then at the end, we're going to draw. And then
let me set up
and talk about the things that we have. So because we're calling it Build a Hero, let's start off with a superpower, okay? Doesn't have to be a superpower. It can be just like a power, something that they do extraordinarily well, right? But I mean, we let's do superheroes. Let's kind of get to that vein. So, all
right,
come up with what you think would be a cool superpower, something unique, and let's just go with one right now. So you don't want to build like a Superman and give him, flight and vulnerability and all these other things. Give him one. Those of you who are listening at home, You do the same thing as well, and you can
We're
build.
supposed to write down on the paper.
Yeah. Write it down on the paper.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what the notebook was for.
Yeah. Those of you playing at home, do the same thing, right? You can write down your ideas as well. And what we'd love for you to do, right, when we're done at the show, post yours as well. Here's what I came up with, right? So you guys think of, right? They can be goofy. They don't have to be goofy, but again, I mentioned Superman, but they have somebody like Flash who has the ability to like run really fast, right? What do you guys think of some other just kind of unique superpowers?
Well, there's
What's that, Tom?
Well, I interrupted Thomas, so go ahead.
No, am I writing them down or am I telling them out loud? I don't know what.
No, we're just talking about them right now. You're gonna write yours down.
We're just laying out what's in the bins.
Yeah, we're just kind of discussing. Yeah.
Well, if I'm
That's
telling
right.
you,
I like that. We're laying out what's in the bins. You're looking in the bins. What can I pick? Right? What superpower can I pick out of the bin?
Invisibility, because I can't see.
Well, that's a good one. Invisibility.
Super sense of smell.
A super sense of smell. Okay, that's a good one. All right.
How about intelligence? I have a problem with flight and everything else with particular kind of character, but I think intelligence is relatable.
That's like a Doc Savage trait too, right?
Yeah.
And I would say that could apply to someone like Iron Man as well, right?
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
And Batman.
Yeah, I mean, because he doesn't have any superpowers. It's all in his suit, but he built the suit, so he's super intelligent.
Yeah.
That's
what I kind of when you broach the idea of build something I've never created is a man in a suit, and
there you go.
That's just the first thing kind of steamrolled in my head.
Hey, you could be the man in the suit guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm asking.
What else might be in the bin? I like that. I like that picture, Tom, in the bin. You're going along.
Strength?
First thing you're gonna get is super strength, right? Yep. That's a kind of a common one particularly for teams, right? You want you talk about it. You're always, hey, we need a strong guy, right?
Also, there's always the character in basically every superhero universe that has like the magic object. So there's Ibis the Invincible who has like a magic wand. There's Starman who has his thing. Green Lantern has the ring. In the cartoons, there was an old Hercules cartoon where he had a magic ring.
Wonder Woman's got the lasso.
Wonder Woman's got the lasso. So there's all these sort of aftermarket enhancements that you can get.
I knew what you did being a superhero.
Tom's already thinking about toys.
That's it.
No, that's right.
So you put him in a vehicle.
Yep.
But yeah, I like so. There's always the sort of general everyday person who gets the magic thing. Yeah. The device.
Now, for us, right, for we four, let's try to think of something that we might not normally go with. All right. But again, we're just doing this. This is fun. So try to think of a power that you might not normally go with. Right. What else? What other powers might be in the bin? And think of some common ones. What flight? Of course, right? Flight would be in the bin.
Like invisibility, I guess.
Healing.
Tom already said invisibility.
Healing.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Also, it's great because it's limited. It doesn't solve things. Like you can't necessarily stop a bank robbery if you have healing power.
Right.
So you have to sort of figure out how you can apply it to different situations. So if you have the big brain, then you've got to figure out how you can use healing power to basically fight crime.
Yeah. Matt is commenting where it says, "Hey, yo, what's up, Pops? Thanks for swinging by and saying, hey, yo."
It's sort of like any sort of power relationship or power dynamic where the power can't actually solve the thing. Because that's why. Because if you watch, I mean, the stupid Superman comics of Mort Weisinger in the '60s, they were always trapping Superman in positions where he could never use his powers. So he's always solving locked room mysteries. He's always trying to fix a puzzle. He's always trying to figure out how to get character A to do something. There's never actually that moment where he sort of jumps up and says, "Listen, I'm Superman. I'm going to punch the heck out of you. Problem's over."
I'm going to punch you through the wall. Yeah.
Because it's too easy.
Yeah.
And so I like I like any sort of dynamic where the power isn't necessarily the thing that solves everything.
Yeah. Logan Kane McCullough, thanks for hanging out with us, Logan. Hey, Logan has a good one here. Low grade telepathy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was my mom when I was a kid.
You knew what you were up to.
Yeah.
That's right.
She always knew, right? Mom always knew.
Don't lie to me. I know.
That's right. Pop says, sorry I'm late. Too much going on anymore. Also, Pops reminds us that if you would like to bring your show to or become a sponsor of the Madness Network Group LLC, please contact us being Pops at the Madness or at Madness Comic on X, or Pops Van Zant on Facebook, or Pops at themeg.tv. If you've got a show and you've always thought, you know what, I need people to hear my show, reach out to Pops and he will take good care of you and get you on.
So to take telepathy, you could also do telekinesis, which is the movement of objects.
Yes.
So if you're like a really scrawny, skinny person, and the only way you can fight the villain is by moving objects that are in your general area, you got to pick what you can use, whether it's a flower pot or a trash can or a chair or whatever.
Yeah.
In order to do it, and that can also be funny.
Yes, it can. Yeah, it can. Pop said we added 2 and possibly 2 more shows. So we've added 2 shows to the network this week, and possibly 2 more as well, for a total of maybe 4 new shows. So the Madness Comic Network is growing, and you guys should always be tuning in, because this is your place for geek entertainment, that we proudly say. So all right, so you guys, any other powers you think are in the bin?
One that nobody likes because it's almost bad. How about mind control?
Oh yeah.
Because then that always makes people mad when you talk about taking over somebody else.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because then it's like,
Or
well,
we can't stay on YouTube, otherwise they'll cut it off. But the R word, like you read it.
Oh yeah. A mind, yeah. Logan says, have you ever seen Zapped with Scott Baio? I have not.
Oh yeah,
that's just sort of a low budget mind control type movie, if I remember correctly, because he had the power to make people. Wasn't it? He had the power to make people do things, or he control things with his mind, or he could move things telekinetically. I forget the actual.
I remember the telekinesis of removing certain items.
That's right. He was undressing chicks.
Yep.
There you go.
And I believe that was the slogan. That was the header from above the movie poster, which is he undresses chicks.
Zapped. He undresses chicks.
A very controlled X-ray vision kind of thing, so you can tune how much you can see or not see.
Yeah.
Well, and then you give everybody cancer because there's that. You give them too many X-rays.
Logan says he was telekinetic, and then Vavavoom says telekinesis was zapped, not mind control.
I stand corrected.
So, all right. In fact, Vavavoom adds, in fact, Heather Thomas's character was very upset.
Or her
yes, she was.
So,
and not just because she was on the Fall Guy.
Let's see. What about? And this was just for Tom. What about the ability to park any vehicle in any spot?
That's the Larry Niven superpower.
Yes.
But to his point, I sort of understood his point after that meeting, which is not all heroes, not all superheroes who have superpowers have something that on the surface is useful.
Right.
Like I think we can all see how holding your breath or living underwater or super strength or supervision or whatever can lead to stories. But if you have like a dopey power, like, oh, I can park a car in any tiny space without doing a 3-point turn.
Yeah.
Then how do you, I mean, it's a dumb idea, but how do you get a story out of that? That's a really challenging sort of thing. How do you fight crime when all you can do is park a car?
Park a car, that's right. David X. Gutierrez says Tom could park his new Ford truck.
It's a Dodge Ram 1500 Laramie.
Yeah. We're going to be reaching out to Dodge later for
some cash. Give us each a truck.
Yeah. Logan says, I loved the Legion of Substitute Heroes.
Yeah, because they all had like one dopey power.
Yep.
Oh, and there's that one. There's the I forget his name. He was originally called like Erg-1. It was a Legion of Superheroes character. He auditioned for the Legion, and it's a Carrie Bates story. And he had one power, but he couldn't show it because it was. And the gimmick is, spoiler alert, the gimmick is when he used his power to save the world or stomp the villain or whatever, he then died. Like so, it was a single use power.
Wow.
And so that, I mean, you can't get a series out of that necessarily.
That's a one shot if I ever heard one.
Yeah, I mean, there's an 8-page story for you. You can't.
Yeah, but that could be a pretty cool 8-page story, though.
Yeah, and it was because it was very sad because you didn't know what the twist was until you saw his floppy costume drop to the ground and just lay there.
Yeah. David A. Scudero says Wildfire.
Yeah, I think it's Wildfire or Wildstorm or Wild. Yeah, I think maybe Wildfire is probably it.
Yeah,
I think Dave is right.
All right, so look at this. Madness reminds us we are also live on Rumble, y'all. We are on Facebook, we are on YouTube, we are on Twitter/X, and we are also on Rumble. And that is thanks to Pops taking care of all that. So Pops, if you're listening to us, thank you for expanding the network and getting us to more eyes. David Escura says Mystery Man had the kid who turned invisible, but only when nobody was looking. That was.
They also had a guy whose only weapon was a shovel.
Yep.
So he would carry the shovel into battle.
I need to watch that again. It's been a long time since I've seen that. All right, so you guys mark down the power that you grabbed out of that bin, and we're gonna move on to the next bin.
I'm writing stuff.
Yeah, whatever power you picked, you had to pick a power out of the power bin. Now, what are you picking?
All right, I got it.
Okay, so I've got a list here. One of you guys want to go next? What thing do we need next to build our hero?
Mustache.
No. Okay, so all right, so we'll translate that into build, look, right? What do they look like? Right. I guess we probably need to, along with that, let's have the age, race, age, sex, race, and build. What is your character? How old are they? Are they male or female? Are they big and hulky? Are they fat and blobby? Are they skinny and quicksilvery? All of those things, right? Because if you think about, again, I just kind of went through the list there. But you can have a wide range of heroes, right? You can have someone who's big and bulky like the Hulk, or you can have a skinny little dude like Quicksilver. What else? Can y'all think of any other things?
Normal.
Just
regular. I mean, one of the things I like about Mike's work is it's so grounded, but all of his people are normal looking.
Yeah.
And they look like people you would see on a TV show, as opposed to they don't look like the Justice League. They look like real people who live in a town.
Right. Yeah.
I said medium build, mid-30s. See, I had the tendency to go a period piece in the 60s. So he would have, more traditional mid-30s look, with the greased hair and characteristics of that.
He would have been post-World War II then. He would have been born like in the late 40s.
Right.
Hey, we are joined by Roberta. Say hi, Roberta.
Hello.
Hey, Roberta.
Roberta, you haven't missed too much. We did all our hellos and news and stuff, and we are working on building a character. The only thing that we have done so far is choose a power. So
what's the power?
If you'll grab we're each doing one. So grab yourself a little notebook.
We chose secret powers. We voted.
And we're gonna compare notes at the end.
Okay.
So just one power. if you're building your superhero at the Build a Superhero workshop, and you come to the power bin, and what power would you reach in and grab?
Okay.
So, Mike, I'm going to come back to you though. Let me challenge you though.
Okay.
You say that's your go-to. Flip it. Do exactly the opposite. Go one way or the other. You said that you have a tendency to choose what'd you say, 30-year-old?
Yeah.
No, actually, I would go younger for a hero, but I would go older in our situation that we're talking about right now, because I'm actually trying to kind of work against what I usually do. I be more of a regular guy that's never prepared for anything in his life, and it's something just kind of develops.
Yeah.
Kind of having to react to things opposed to, planned out or all this, hero tropes or whatever. Someone who kind of falls into something, and having to react.
Yeah.
So, that's the reason. When we start talking about stuff like this, my mind kind of goes to, we're talking about, you're talking about intelligence or a man in a tin suit or whatever. I tend to try to reverse it. How does that come out? How does someone want to wear something or come up with, use his intelligence to build something? And, who would he look like? Well, he might look like a schlub. He might be kind of, maybe have a little belly and not very,
just average.
Be very average, because again, this is not something he intended to happen. It kind of was maybe hiding technology, maybe hiding something from people who want to expose or make something worse.
And I know this is a horrible stereotype, but basically the kid in the basement who uses an enhanced profile of himself on the games that he plays is basically he has that same sort of personality type where he's created an identity for himself.
Yeah.
That's not real, but it's his identity. And you take that and put him in a suit, then I think you have an interesting dynamic.
Yeah.
Because the suit solves problems sometimes.
Right.
Sometimes. But the guy in the suit still has his original personality. So it's like
limited.
Yeah, limited. Yeah.
Very much like, I don't know if y'all have seen the new Shazam movies. Very much like the Shazam movies, which I think are really good. By who's the actor who plays them?
Zachary Levi. Yeah,
I think he does a fantastic job as Shazam.
And the also because the recent Spider-Man movies had they made fun of the trope of the genius in the chair.
Yeah.
Yes, they did. Yeah.
And so that's you take that guy and put him in the suit, and now I'm really interested in seeing where that goes.
Yeah. It's funny because Spider-Man never needed a genius in a suit because or a genius in the chair because he was the genius.
Right. And also he wasn't the great thing about Spider-Man is he wasn't the chosen one. He was just bitten.
Yeah.
And he reacted what he did what Mike said. He reacted to his circumstances.
Yeah.
And also a lot of these guys, what I liked about that version of Peter Parker was there was found objects. Everything that he learned or taught himself was getting out of garbage bins. They weren't like he didn't have money to go out and buy
right.
stuff. And that's as we're sitting here talking, I think of the Johnny Cash song "One Piece at a Time," where he works at a car manufacturer and he sneaks a piece of a car out every day so he can eventually build his own mastercraft.
Right.
That would be what I would do. I would have this guy. He's not very much other than going to work, and he lifts things up. Maybe he works at a manufacturer, a government institution, and goes home and is doing this in his basement, like Tom said. Just kind of. So, like I said, he's taking technology one piece at a time in a lunchbox and assembling the stuff at home because again, he doesn't have the Tony Stark millions. He doesn't have the wherewithal to get anything. He can just kind of pick things.
And you could do it where the threats are increasing in their threateningness, but he's still not ready. He's still putting his suit together, so he still has to fight. He still has to fight with a suit that's sort of half-assed that he's sort of building on his own.
Yeah.
As the threats increase, and so that's an interesting thing as well, where the suit is not fully formed.
Yeah, 1 week he wouldn't, he would only have whatever he worked on that week, and maybe it would mess up right in the middle of something. And
right,
so you're having a progression, issue to issue of him developing this, and you're along with the ride, and then you're also along with the failures, because again the thing's tearing up, because he's trying it as he goes.
It's very similar to how the Star Trek stuff works on TV or in the movies, where they need something that they don't have from the Federation. They sort of cobble it together from bits from the engine room and from the power source and from the magic gem that they have or whatever, and they try to make it work, but it sort of fritzes out until they are able to repiece it back together.
Yeah.
I'm giving all she's got, Captain.
Right. I love stuff like that, where there's that tension of will it work or not work.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah. Okay, so that was kind of our the visual, the age, sex, race build. What would be next? What would be the next bin? All right, so we've been to the power bin, and we've been to the build bin. What's the next bin?
Motivation.
Motivation. Okay, that's a great one. Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. What's the motivation? What are so let's kick around some characters we know. What about Superman? What's Superman's motivation?
Protection.
Right.
Using what he has to protect.
Depending on what version of Superman it was, wasn't he given instructions by Jonathan Kent?
Do good.
Yeah, he was given instructions by his surrogate father, his good stepfather, to sort of say, this is what you should be doing.
Yeah.
And then he croaks, spoiler alert. And so Superman is sort of left to carry on his adopted father's wishes, which I think that's cool, because that's not a specific mission like save the world or stop Brainiac or whatever. That's more of a whole attitude.
Yeah.
Of just
Well, and I think Spider-Man has that very same kind of motivation, from Uncle Ben. He does not do a good thing, and it leads to the death of Uncle Ben. And Uncle Ben tells him, hey, with great power comes great responsibility. Where Spider-Man recognizes, hey, I have this power that no one else has, so I have a responsibility that no one else has.
And that's also very Shakespearean in the way that Superman is not, because Spider-Man is responsible for the death of his uncle.
Yes.
And so he's got to protect Aunt May, who keeps trying to marry Doc Ock.
Yeah.
And he's got to protect the city so that he doesn't want other people to go through the death of their uncle or family member that he did. Right. And I think that's a valuable lesson or characteristic.
Yeah.
And that's with Batman too. I mean, you have Batman, he's out there fighting crime to make sure that no one else has to live like he did or grow up the way that he did.
But he brought it on himself, because he was the one who said, hey, Mom and Dad, let's go down the alley. Let's take this dangerous shortcut.
No. I figured the whole time, because they leave it early, right? I figured they left because he's in there going wah wah wah, right? And so they're like, oh, just to shut him up, we got to leave early.
Roland's written his own Batman story.
Logan says, I'm a superhero for fun.
Well, that's a good attitude.
Yep.
There you
go. There's always that. So yeah, motivation is a great one. If you're creating a character, you need to have that. You need to reach in that bin and grab the motivation. What makes the character go?
To get girls.
Get girls. That's a good one. Yeah.
Or boys.
Make money.
Yep. Or boys. Yep. Yeah. I'm gonna be that's everyone that I knew that in high school that wanted to be in a rock band. The only reason they wanted to be in a rock band was to get chicks, right?
and high school rock bands make the best music.
Of course they do. They don't call them garage bands for nothing.
Oh, they're the equivalent. A garage band, a high school garage band, is the equivalent of sitting in the basement playing video games.
I always thought Pacific Fear was a garage band plus.
I always thought that was like stress relief for you guys.
Oh, it was absolutely. Yeah, it was for me.
Like you didn't you didn't have any illusions of where it was going. It was just like, oh, we're going to get together with friends and play some music, and that was it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and they made me sing.
Oh, I heard you sing too. So.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like, really, we want you to come play with us, and I'm like, cool. What do you do? I'm like, I play drums. Well, Chris is already on drums, so you're going to sing. Wait, no, you've never even heard me sing. It's like
I have.
You have now, yeah. And I'm sorry for that.
That's okay. Listen, I heard Ozzy Osbourne sing too, so it's.
Yeah, we did have fun. It was a fantastic stress relief.
Right.
It was always a whole lot of fun. Ed was super talented. Ed Hendricks,
he
super
was
talented.
He was the one that I thought could have gone somewhere with that.
Yes, yeah, I agree, 100%. Mike Brown was in it for a while, and he was always fun to watch because he had that very reserved personality, and
right.
But he was always in the back watching.
So that's a good superpower too, watching.
Yeah, yep. Roberta's like, Mike Brown, man, I haven't heard that name in forever.
No. Very long time.
Okay, so that was motivation.
Motivation.
All right, so the next one. Let's move to the next one. The next bin you come to is personality. Your character needs a personality. David Ace Gutierrez adds, some do it for adventure. Yeah, that would be certainly a motivating factor. Could be a motivating factor for your character.
Well, especially if you grew up in like a small town or you had some kind of oppressive environment where you couldn't like do anything. Because it's sort of like it's like Rumspringa for the Amish when they go out for, it's like, okay, I got 6 weeks or 2 months or whatever it is.
Well, it's like if you're from a small town, it's suddenly like, look what I can do.
Right.
Right. And then you gotta go see what you can do.
Well, it's also like when you graduate from college or graduate from high school. I mean, you go to your first year of college. It's like, oh, wait a minute.
Right.
I have to go to class. I can stay up late. I can, I can go out drinking.
Yeah.
I can do whatever.
Yep. These
are my superpowers.
That's why so many freshmen. That's why so many people in the 4-year program are actually on a 5-year program, because they mess up the first year and with all that freedom.
Yeah, because I had 2 freshman years.
Yeah, same. Yeah. David Escudero says you get to be the hero for a year, then back to churning butter.
That's right. Well, that would be a good motivation too. You basically have 1 year.
You know what? I'm actually
there's a time limit.
An Amish superhero. That's
it didn't have to be Amish. You could, because that'll get you into trouble with the butter churners or whatever. So
yeah, they're not going to read it though. Well, they're never going to see it.
They'll read it if it's made out of wood.
Yeah, it's not electronic. It's not digital.
Yeah. I think any sort of thing that you could put on, because it's not interesting to me if it's comics and it's basically about something like that really exists. If there's a way to spin that and make it more,
you can turn it on its head.
Turn it on its head. Give me the time limit without all the cultural and religious aspects of it.
It's an Amish person who's trying to keep his power secret from all the Amish.
That's right.
He wants to go. He needs to go be a hero, but he's Amish, and so he's got to get back before the candles are turned out.
Logan Kane McCulloch just picked up. He expanded on what I just said.
Yeah. Strike Force Mortuary. That was a great one.
That was a good one. We who were about to die.
Yep.
And again, David Ace Gutierrez agrees. Excellent choice. Yeah, that was a fantastic comic. So when it comes to personalities, what are some, if you were to sum up a personality in one word, what are some personality that you can think of?
Pain in the butt. That's one word.
Pain in the butt. That's a great one.
Abrasive.
Good.
That's actually one word.
Yeah. Well, I think you got to find a personality that fits the power or doesn't fit the power. Basically, they either go together or they clash.
Right.
And you've got to find a personality that the audience might be interested in.
Yes.
So like your character can still be a pain in the butt because The Boys has proved that the audience will respond to those kinds of negative characters. Or it could be super heroic. like Shazam was in the Shazam movies, or it could be sort of dark and grunty like Batman.
But no one is interested in a wallflower, right?
Right, or somebody who doesn't do anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Or whatever the personality is, you want that personality to sort of drive some of the action.
So you guys may already be aware of this, but this is the Myers-Briggs personality type indicator.
Oh,
This is what
it turns out I'm an a-hole.
That's one word.
This is what I use for often, not always, but this is what I use for my primary characters. I will assign them a personality type. And of course, you see there are 16 personality types based on 4 different, I don't know what to call these elements. So, right, the I's is an introvert. E stands for extrovert. Where are they at? Let me find them here.
Which is weird because most comic book people that I know are introverted because they work from home and they work by themselves and they work on their stuff. And they're extroverted when they go out in public and do a show, or take a meeting or whatever. So they're like both.
Well, it's funny because that's what I tell folks when I say, well, I'm when I take this test, I'm an introvert, and they go, no, you're not. You talk about comic books all the time. I'm like, yeah, because you know me from the comic book world and you know how much I love comics, and I can talk about comics for a long time. I am not introverted when you put me in that situation.
Yeah, but when I'm meeting people from the Jet Propulsion Laboratories, I still want to talk comics.
Right.
All right, so anybody.
So your personality types, you can either be an extrovert or an introvert, right? So an E or an I. You can either be sensing or intuitive, the way you take in information. You can either you come to your conclusions by either thinking or feeling. You either think it out, or you feel it, what feels right. And you approach the outside world either through judging or perceiving, right? Now,
definitely judging.
So the last time I took the test, I was an INTJ. That was my personality type, right? And so if you went to INTJ, have original minds, a great drive for implementing their ideas and achieving their goals. They quickly see patterns in external events, develop long-range exploratory perspectives, when committed, organize a job and carry it through. Skeptical and independent, have high standards of competence and performance for themselves and for others. And
so where is this test?
So it's Myers-Briggs.org.
Yeah, it's on. Yeah, it's also there. It's online too. You can just
yes, yeah. Cool. So one of the things that, and this all goes back to the personalities. One of the things that I will try to do is, once I figure out, okay, what personality is my character going to have, right? My primary character. And then I'll say, all right, well, let's just say it's an INTJ, right? All right, well, my antagonist, as I'm coming up with either maybe an antagonist or just somebody in the supporting staff, I'm going to come up with somebody that has the exact opposite of those. So they're going to be an ES, where are my letters? An E, I lost them. Where did they go?
One of your little drop down things.
There we go. Yeah. An ESFP, right? Because then an ESFP, right? They're outgoing, they're friendly and accepting, they're exuberant, lovers of life, people, and material comforts. They enjoy working with others to make things happen, bring common sense and a realistic approach to their work, and make work fun. They're flexible and spontaneous. They adapt readily to new people and environments. They learn best by trying a new skill with other people.
And they're trying to sell me crypto.
And they're trying to sell you crypto. So for me, these are like the type indicators, right? Now you can go with just like we talked about, an a-hole or someone who's friendly, someone who's lovable, right? You can use those kinds of starting points, but you have to have some kind of personality, right?
Right. Also, because people aren't really that black and white. Some people,
right.
There's some situations where you're intuitive and there's some situations where you're thinking it, and there's some situations where you're outgoing, and some situations where you're introverted, and we're just looking at your watch trying to figure out how you can make your escape.
Yeah.
And so I think some of this stuff is situational because we've all been in places where like, well, I'm an introvert here, but I'm an extrovert here.
Right. Yes. I'm a situational introvert.
Right. And I get like, because it's like, I look at it as you're like a baseball player. You don't really know what pitch is coming.
Right.
So you sort of got to be ready to react for the thing that gets thrown at you.
Yep.
You can't guarantee you're going to hit a home run. You can't guarantee you're going to strike out. You can't get your game.
Yeah. David A. Scooter says, "Don't let Tom fool you. He's truly a good and kind person." How long have you known him, David? He says, "What's great about a hero like Spider-Man is he has two personalities. He has the Peter personality and the Spider-Man personality."
That's true of a lot of people in suits.
Yes,
and I think that speaks a lot to what Mike was saying about the character who's building his own suit, sort of piecing it together from parts from work and from found objects, is because when he puts on the suit, he definitely acquires or believes he has a different personality than when he's sitting at home or going to work.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so you guys reach into the personality bin and pull out a personality. It can be simple or it can be complicated, whatever you want to do for this character here. But reach into that personality bin and pull you out a personality.
All right.
All right. Next up, and I like this one. I think this one is important for visual entertainment. I think it's really important for comic books, and that's a visual quirk. All right. Mm-hmm. Now, before we went live, I mentioned something about Sherlock Holmes. Right. Sherlock Holmes has a couple of identifiable visuals that you see and you go, "That's Sherlock Holmes." Right.
Right. You can see the silhouette of him and go, "Oh, that's him."
Yeah. I know who that is. Right. And it's that what'd you call it? The
deerstalker hat.
The deerstalker hat. Right. And he's also got the pipe.
Pipe and the violin.
Yep.
And sometimes he has the long coat, and he has in the original illustrations he has sort of a biggish nose.
Yes. Yeah. That's right.
So you
big Roman nose.
Sideways. Yeah, the Roman nose. And so he's very. I mean, for a character who is written, his visual is very strong.
Yes.
And people have picked up on the way he's described in the books, and that's become canon.
So our next bin is a visual quirk. What other kinds of visual quirks of characters can you think of? Mm-hmm. Any of them, but let's stick with comics or entertainment, really. What other characters have visual quirks that you look at them and you go, "Ooh, I know who that is."
Green Arrow's goatee.
Great one. Absolutely. Yep.
Also, he's got a quiver full of funny arrows.
One of them has a big fist on the end of it, right?
Or the boxing glove.
Yeah. How that thing flies, I'll never know.
Superman spit curl.
Oh yeah. The little curl he has. Yep. Good. Yeah.
The boots. A lot of them have different boots. Black Canary's
pirate boots.
Fishnet stockings and pirate boots.
Black Canary's fishnet. Yeah.
Wonder Woman's red, white, and blue outfit.
Yep. Logan says Batman's ears. Great visual. If you see that silhouette, right, you see Batman's ears. And also, then David A. Scooter says all the greats have wonderful silhouettes.
Yeah, because some of us who are of a certain age saw like the regular Batman from the 60s or whatever, and some of us saw the Bernie Wrightson Batman where the cape was like 4 miles long.
Right.
And the Walter Simonson Batman where the cape was like 4 miles long. But it still created a great silhouette, and you still knew it was Batman.
Yeah.
What other characters with a visual quirk can you think of?
Well, the Thing, he's made of rock.
Limbs?
Y'all, I'm losing my internet, aren't I?
No, I hear you.
No.
Oh,
we're just taking our time.
Oh, okay. Well, I've got spinning circles for everybody but you, Mike.
You're all go crazy.
The questions.
Tommy's moving.
I would say the Thing.
All right, so I don't know if y'all can still hear me.
Yes.
Visual. Okay, good. Visual. Other visual characters with a visual quirk.
Human Torch. He's on fire.
That's a good one.
The Thing made of rocks. Mr. Fantastic and Plastic Man. They're all stretchy.
Stretchy.
Would those be considered visual quirks?
Oh yeah.
Make them stand out. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the thing that I don't like, I never liked the X-Men when they all wore the same costume.
Yeah.
Because it took away their uniqueness to me.
Well, Sandman's made out of sand. That's a visual.
The Marvel one.
The
DC Sandman's made from
death. Very different.
Yeah. Yeah. I missed some of it because my internet was.
Oh, that's a good one.
Hellboy. Yeah. Hellboy's got a great visual look.
Mm-hmm.
He's got two different hands, which makes it.
Yeah.
Aside from missing horns, he's got the two different hands.
Yeah, he's asymmetrical.
Yeah.
Matthew Cricky says, "Hi, what's up, Matthew? Thanks for hanging out with us. We are building a hero today." Also,
Mike's point's really great because Hellboy is asymmetrical, which makes him visually interesting and fun to draw because he doesn't line up straight.
Nope.
What about
you gotta remember that?
Yeah. What about someone even like Professor X? He's in a wheelchair and bald.
Right.
And bald.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's got little circles of energy coming out of his head when he's.
That's right.
When he's doing stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. David A. Scudera says the Doom Patrol best visual quirks that spelled out their abilities.
Yes.
True.
Yeah.
Very true.
Also, the names were that the original Doom Patrol is like Negative Man and Robot Man. And, so they tell you, the name tells you what they are.
Yeah. Notice I haven't asked about a name yet, right? And part of this is a Roland thing that I think that you want your name to embody the what you created, right? You don't.
Well, yeah, I look at it from two different ways. Sometimes the name just pops into my head, and then I try to make the character deal with the name.
Yes.
But sometimes a name is like a pet, where you don't know what you're going to call your pet for the first couple of weeks because you've got to see what they do.
Right.
And that sort of inspires the name. And so sometimes I don't have the name until I get the character built, and then it's like, oh, this is a
Yes.
Yeah.
Or it's the other way around. Sometimes you got this is a great name.
Right.
I'm gonna build a character around that.
Because I work in. I know we all have phones and stuff, but I also work in an old-fashioned way. I carry a notebook around, and when I think of a cool name or whatever, I'll just flip it open. I've got pages of just stupid stuff that it may never become anything, but if I hear certain dialogue in a restaurant, or if I come across a funny name, or if something pops into my head, I got to jot it down because I never throw anything away.
Or if you need something, you can just flip to page 5. Take it.
Right.
Yeah. It's not unusual that we'll be driving, and I'll tell I'll ask my wife, "Hey, send me this email." and if because I'm driving, I can't do it, right? And she's over there going, and then she looks at me. It's like, "What does that mean?" I said, "Don't worry about it. I know what it means."
I do the same thing where I'll send Renee a text, and she says, "Why did you send me this?" And it's like, just so I won't forget.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a great use of technology.
Yeah. He goes, you could just send yourself an email, and I'm like, yeah, but a text is easier. It's
Sometimes I'll come across something like a sign or a packaging or whatever that inspires something. I'll just take a picture.
Yep.
And save it.
BJ is really good about that. I'm not that good yet about doing that, mostly because
it's right on your phone, Roland.
I often don't have my phone with me. Like if you were to call me right now, I'm not really sure where my phone is. So I would have to try.
You don't.
Yeah, I know.
Well, if you're out there, please call Roland right now.
No, don't, because I don't know where it is.
604-555-1212.
Might be over there. Anyway. All right. So right now we've got power, we've got build, like a physical build, we got motivation, we have personality, and we have a visual quirk. What other bin do you think is in our Build a Hero workshop here? Anybody? I've got some, but I want you guys. What else?
Situation.
Who's calling me? I hear it now. Tommy, stop it.
Do you mean situation by how he lives or where he's set?
Well, both. Basically, what is the setup of his life? Is he by himself? Is he married? Does he have kids, or does she have kids? Depends on who. It's just basic setting.
Setting. I like that basic setting,
because setting puts where everything else goes.
Right.
Because you can come up with the character and whatever, but when you put them in the setting, a lot of that stuff meshes better.
Right. And also you want to be free to readapt. Basically, if you come up with a great setting, I don't want to be locked into some of my character traits if I really like the setting. So then I have to go back and rework the character so he fits in the world that I want to create.
Yeah.
So I think that's one thing about characters at this early stage is you really kind of want to be flexible as you develop your story and the background, because you might like certain things.
Right.
As you go forward, you might want to change certain things to give you better stuff.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, and you're brainstorming, which is all this is, right? That's all this session is brainstorming. And you're brainstorming. You should never look at it as like I'm married to all of this stuff that I have just come up with.
Yeah.
Right. These are things to make you think, and then once you get a bigger picture, you can say, okay, well, this doesn't make sense, or this needs to go.
And also, you should never be afraid to write something down because you think it's too stupid. You should always write it down, because the thing that you think is too stupid, by the time you get done, it may suddenly fit.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or you may be able to see, I can make that stupid thing better. And so I think that's.
And here's the other thing: if you've got good, it doesn't necessarily have to be an editor. It could be a writing partner. I know Tom has a writing partner that you write with often.
Yep.
If you've got a good writing partner, if you've got a good sounding board group, a feedback group, or whatever you want to call it, you can often depend on them to number one, to let you know if it's stupid, right?
Right.
Number two, to let you know, okay, you know what, that may not be as stupid as you think it is. That's kind of cool.
Right. Or also, because I've got a bunch of friends that I bounce stuff off of all the time, just not into great detail, but I'll just text them, what about this? And oftentimes they'll say yes, but, or yes, and, or whatever.
Right.
But sometimes they'll say, oh, that's a show on HBO right now. And it's like, oh, okay. All right. Then I'm going to throw that one away, and I'm going to.
Right. Yeah.
So I think we all grew up with the idea of the creative person sitting alone in the room, creating their genius, or whatever. But at a certain point, you really got to start bouncing ideas off of people.
Yeah.
To see.
Yes.
To also, and I think talking it out sometimes helps the process. Like if I can't explain the idea to Roland, and Roland doesn't get it in like 5 minutes, it's not Roland's fault. It's my fault.
Yes, that's right.
Somewhere I've gone off deep into the weeds, and I've lost my audience. And that's I'm a big believer in bouncing ideas off people.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, I think you want to make sure it is someone you can trust, right? And I just mean someone that you has your best interest, maybe.
I disagree, because I have a friend who's
like that's just a yes man kind of person. You don't need that all the time.
No, you don't want a yes man. No,
because I've got friends who will be critical, but I also have friends who I will take the opposite of the advice they give me.
Okay.
I think you just got to know who's who.
Yeah. No, I think so as well.
I think it's you being able to just take in everything and go, okay, this is good, that's not good. Whoever told you whatever. I think you gotta be able to do that.
If you get multiple feedbacks, I've always been of the opinion is that you take all of those multiple feedbacks and you put them in a pot and stir them up.
Yeah.
And you get something out of that. You might find they may not say the exact same words, but you might find that there's a common theme that they're saying. Okay, well, what they're all meaning is this, right?
Well, also, I think if I get precious about my work and I show it to a bunch of people, and Roland and Mike and Roberta and Tommy all find the same thing wrong with it,
yes,
then I can't be precious about the work anymore. It's like, well, 4 creative people just told me I'm wrong in no uncertain terms. So I got to figure out, that's exactly right. I got to figure out where I misstepped it, if I can fix it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You still may be correct, but it may need tweaking where you didn't think it needed tweaking. Yeah,
right.
And I may not have expressed the idea that I wanted to express in a way that other people could understand. So it's like I might be too inside, and I've got to be, more out.
Your work is worth more than your ego.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because I don't define myself on whether or not Roland loves my work.
Right.
Because our relationship isn't dependent on him loving everything I do.
Right.
My relationship is just depending on, can we help each other? Can we hang out without?
Right.
Because if you have a friend where you pitch their idea to them and you end up just fighting all the time, you don't have a friend.
Right.
True.
You might.
Yeah. David Escura says, to quote Tom, what is the note behind the note?
That's exactly right. What are they? Yeah. What are they saying?
Yeah, absolutely. He's David Escura has another one here. He's got a question for us. He says, how much do you let market inform your character construction? When do you know when to make a pivot to make them unique? It's a good question. It's a great question.
I brought that up a minute ago. It's like, we all want to do our own projects, quote unquote, that type of thing. But on the flip side of it, do you want to, are any of us at the point where we could just do something, and if it totally bombs, it's like, well, there was 3 years of my life I just wasted on something that I knew from the beginning that I was the only person, me and my wife were the only persons that would like it.
Yeah.
We still want to do something that at least is sellable to somebody else, because that's a lot of work that
it is.
Into it.
It is.
Well, it depends on what your goals are. If your goals is to tell your story, tell your story. If it bucks against what's going on in the industry or whatever, maybe it's because no one know you exist. So sometimes putting your story out there may make people think, hey, I like that. So you can't always go with trends. I mean, if you want to sell things, think about all the fads that have gone on in the last 30 years in comics. The bad girls, the good girls, the teeth gritting heroes, anti-heroes. I mean, you want to go along with the trends if you want to make some money, but maybe sometimes going your own way. You may initially buck the trend, but maybe you're showing somebody a new trend.
Because we talked about this a little bit last week, which is that some of the comics, like Stray Bullets and Strangers in Paradise and Grendel and Walking Dead, they all came out at a time where you would look at where if you were pitching those, people would have gone, no, we're not interested in that stuff.
Nope. Right. Yeah.
And so they sort of stuck to their guns and they did it their own way, and they came out. Now that these are all the ones that succeeded, there's like 1,000 behind them that all failed. But I think they took a chance, they stuck to their creative vision, and they found a way to make it sell to an audience that might not have been interested already until they were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think it's sort of both sides of the coin. I think if I had work that it was mostly finished and I showed it to a bunch of people and they said there's no market for this, then my plan would be, well, I still want to do this.
Right.
How can I reach the market? Like how can so it's not so much that I let the market dictate it. It's just like, what are the market forces at work? How can I work with those market forces to make my product have a chance? And I think that's a harder conversation to have with yourself.
It is.
But it's a way to keep your own vision on track if you really want to do, because you can sort of patchwork and say, well, I want to please these people, so I'll put this in here, and I want to please those people, so I'll put this in here, and I want to please that group of people, so I'll put this in here. And then, now I've got 3 groups of people who all should love my book. It's like, but it's not my book anymore.
Right.
Yeah. I've patchworked it together in a way that now nobody wants to read it.
And I think with entertainment, just in general, I think across the board, instead of trying to bring the people to the entertainment, we're taking the entertainment to the people, and we're making a lot of compromises. You see that in the movies. They're just doing remakes and doing all these things that are really of no effort, and the same way with comics. Comics they're trying to appeal to people opposed to going their own way, because you see again a lot of the stuff that we talked about last week, a lot of stuff that came out in the 80s. It was original and it brought people to comics, And like I said, we've been trying to serve people, a lot of the mainstream, and like I said, even movies and TV, they're doing things by the book, trying to go to the people, opposed to going their own way, which actually might be more attractive to some people. Give me something original. Give me something I might be interested. I didn't even know I wanted.
Yeah.
Right. Who would have watched Breaking Bad?
Exactly.
There's nothing like that on TV. Who would have watched The Sopranos? Who would have watched, there's a lot of stuff that comes out that again, TV is littered with stuff that didn't succeed because people went their own way. But it's also when going your own way hits, it really hits big.
Right.
No one was doing X-Files when X-Files came out.
Well, and I think you have to be true to your vision, but you also have to you also have to understand. I think that as Tommy said, is that you don't want to spend a long time doing something if everyone around you is telling you, yeah, this is no good, this is no good. I mean, I guess you could say, well, I'm just gonna book all of the comments. But if your trusted sources, if your trusted resources, I should say, if I come up with something, Mike doesn't like it, Tom doesn't like it, Roberta doesn't like it, Tommy doesn't like it, I'm like, well, you know what? That's 4 voices that I trust, right? Do they just not like it because they're just not getting me? They're not trying to understand. They don't understand what I'm trying to. They're not picking up what I'm laying down, right?
That's right.
You stole my story idea. That's what it was.
It's like, at some point in time, you do have to say, all right, well, maybe there are changes that I need to make because it's just something that's not working.
Also, there's a point at which you may need to just put it aside for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And I've met some creators who only have one idea and one project, and that's all they want to do, and that's all they want to sell. But a lot of people are like, I got dozens of these things. So if the market's not right, or I can't find an audience or a publisher for this, or I don't want to invest the time or whatever, I got idea number 2. Yep. I got idea number 10. Yep. I got
the next one.
Right.
Yeah.
I remembered it was what's the guy's name? It was the Ben Affleck and Matt Damon guys. They had something. They said, "What are you laughing about?" No, they had a
David A. Scudero said nobody liked Roland's concept album.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, no, they came out right when they started breaking into it and they started getting all these roles and stuff. They had something that I always kind of remembered. It was the 2 for them, 1 for me kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So meaning, do 2 big money-making things so I can do the one small thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Not going to make any money at all, but the other stuff's making it so I can.
And also, don't forget that Good Will Hunting, their screenplay started out as a superhero movie.
Did it really?
They were convinced it was going to be a superhero movie, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, no, we can evolve it. We evolve it into an Oscar-winning screenplay.
Yeah, they sure did.
So it's sometimes the thing you start with isn't necessarily the thing that you end up with.
Yeah.
And don't be so upset if it flips around a little bit as it goes. If you're cool with it, if you say no, this is going to be a superhero movie, period. Or
it goes back to David's comment. You can't be precious with your work.
Yeah, but you also got to pick where your line is.
Like,
you definitely.
What's your red line?
Underground.
How much money will you take in order to?
Right. What's your price?
That's right. What's the price?
Underground tunnels in New Orleans were really, really, really hard for me to take.
Right.
They're there. You hadn't seen them.
It's like when I watch TV shows or movies that are set in New York City, supposedly, but I see how they name the street signs and I see some of the buildings and I go, well, that's just Toronto. That's Vancouver. That's not. You can pretend it's New York City,
right?
But I've been there.
Yeah, that's a problem. Yeah. All
right. So should we reveal? What are we doing?
Yeah. Let's reveal what we got. All right. Who wants to start? Stop. Who wants to start? Please, all of us stop. Anybody? I'll go. All right.
Yeah, so, we know how you're laying this out here.
We didn't get to things like a weakness or their name or anything like that, and that's okay, right? So here's what I've got: the power to blow bubbles. This person they're young, they're 13, they're male, they're tall and skinny. Their motivation is they want to learn to use bubbles to enhance travel. Right. Their personality is that they're very bombastic. They blow great bubbles, and they want you to know they blow great bubbles. The visual quirk is they actually have a bubble for a head. They have exactly a round head, so it's a bubble. And the basic setting is that they live in a
bathtub.
No, they live in an astronomy lab. I don't know what they're called. Astronomy lab in Alaska. Observatory. They live in an observatory. That's the word I was looking for.
Astronomy lab. Use your words, Roland.
Astronomy lab. They live in an observatory in Alaska. That's mine. That's what I got.
All right.
Observatory. Astronomy lab.
They have, Batman has like an apartment in a cave.
Yeah. All right, who's next? What do you got, Mike?
Let's see here. Well, we got a pretty intelligent guy that is on the surface kind of abrupt with people, but he's a good guy. And as we were talking, as far as personality, why he can be abrupt, he can be very kind, in his personal life, because he's recently moved his dad in. Like I said, if I'm going too much, I just throw something at me. No. But he's a medium build, kind of got a belly, and as far as the intelligence, a little smarter than most, and has been kind of bringing things to a kind of a boil in his basement. Under the hiding it from his dad and from all his neighbors. And as far as motivation, initially he thought that maybe he could come up with something to make some money, but has come to maybe a point where he realized maybe he could do a little bit of good with it.
Money is one of those great motivators, right?
Exactly. You try to figure out how to come up with something new that people would want to buy, but then starts thinking, well, if I was to try to sell this, maybe somebody could do some pretty dangerous things with this thing. And then like I said, trying to go through the motions of becoming a hero by just as far as I would actually come up with a name, I'd call it Piecemeal.
Oh, cool. Yeah, cool.
There we go.
Yeah, I like that. Very cool. All right. Who wants to go next?
Roberta does.
Oh, I do. Not necessarily. But
Roberta's like, I came in late, you guys.
I did. All right. So, female. She's 20-ish, and I'd say that one of the most important things about her is the powers. So she has telekinesis and hydrokinesis.
Cool.
And she can do the bubble thing like you can.
Yeah.
She hangs out with your guy, bro.
Mm-hmm. Her personality is she's a neat freak.
That's a good one.
She's very, very tidy. She really wants things orderly. She's a leader. Yet I think some of the weird things about her is a little possessive. So she gets a little greedy sometimes.
Yeah.
And then one of the things I thought about her is her locale. She lives underwater.
Okay, cool.
Nice.
So she can come out when she wants to, but the telekinesis can allow her to make people think she is whatever she wants to look like.
That's cool.
And her motivation is she does want to help people, and she also wants to bring awarenesses to how to be one planet, so it can be,
stop polluting my ocean.
Stopping people from doing serious harm.
Yeah. That's cool.
So
Very cool. I like it.
No name, but
I like it. No, we didn't get that far. David A. Scooter says, you sold me on that, Mike Belcher.
There we go.
And then he says, they live in a star-looking place.
That's right.
I can't believe I couldn't think of that. You can rewrite me to an Oscar win all you like.
That's right.
There you go. All right, Tommy, what do you got?
Okay, well, my guy it's a dude. It's an older, tall, skinny guy. He's probably 75-ish.
Okay.
And he's homeless. So his power is that he basically can transform into different kind of animals. I'm thinking that the quirk that he has is kind of he's always got a Popeye kind of eye quirk. So all the animals that he turns into, I'm thinking visuals. So every time whatever animal he might turn into, always has that same look. So you can always kind of pick him out, kind of a thing. So if he turns into a rat, the rat's kind of, or if it's a dog, or y'all are not liking this.
I like it.
I love it.
But so I'm thinking that his personality is he's very quiet, but very thoughtful and protective of his other homeless buddies. So that's why he's always, he's changing into these different things to try to help his other homeless people. So his motivation is basically he's just trying to stay alive, kind of a thing. But then I wrote down this whole little mini story kind of deal where when he turns into the whatever it is that he's turning into, he gains those abilities of whatever it is that he's turning into, but his mind also goes. So if he turns into a rat, basically his brain is a rat brain.
Up the rat brain.
And he starts losing his humanity. And if he stays that way too long, he's more than likely it's going to stick, and he'll never be able to switch back. So he's got like a certain amount of time that he starts going kind of crazy, and he gets stuck into these different kind of
like Hourman.
And because he's got the little squint eye thing, his friends are like, I don't have a name for the guy. We'll just call him George. They're like, George, you got to switch back. You're going to get stuck. And he has to, they got to convince him to come back to him after he beats up the bad guys or whoever's trying to steal from the homeless people. They got to get him.
I love the Glock aspect of it.
Yeah.
I like that it's lo-fi. That it's basically helping he's homeless and helping the homeless. So it's not like a big world-ending sort of thing.
Right. Yeah. That's all he's doing is helping his buddies, and because he can change into stuff, but he gets stuck. And if he's not careful, he'll get stuck forever. I stole your idea of you can only do your power one time and then you're dead. So when you said that, I'm like, oh yeah, he can only do this for so long, otherwise he gets stuck. And then he's a bear forever.
But he doesn't die, but he just gets stuck, so he's trapped. That's
right.
It's different than a single use power.
Right. But it's that you can't go back. At a certain point you kind of go insane kind of thing. And then you're stuck.
It's a little bit like Quantum Leap.
Very much, yeah.
He becomes a different
Quantum Leap
or Manimal.
Still somebody else's show.
No, I like it. Sounds good.
Yeah, it's great.
All right, Tom.
I wrote mine down on a Costco receipt.
There you go.
That's my notebook for this evening. And I had originally visioned this as a teenage boy, like 14, 15 years old. And then I thought, once Roberta started talking, I thought, this might work better as a teenage girl. This might work as 14, 15. And so, so keep that in mind. But I thought, because this was when it was the teenage boy part, he's basically thin and basically scrawny 15-year-old kid. So it doesn't necessarily, you wouldn't look at him as like the hero type or the whatever. And he's anxious. He's got high school teenage anxiety about pretty much everything, from his appearance to his school to being a good person or pleasing people or whatever. So he's got a high level of anxiety, and he has because I said this earlier, he has a single use power. And the motivation is he wants to use the power to do the one great thing, to basically help as large a group of people as possible, since he's only going to get to use it once. And then his recurring thing is, well, is this? Then he has anxiety about, is this the thing where I need to use my power, or can I find another way out and save my power for the big thing? So then the stories are basically, how can he not use his power, knowing that he always has it in reserve, and he has to use his higher level of intelligence to sort of solve the puzzle, beat the villain or whatever it is, whatever the story element is, and not use his power.
He could also kind of start going a little bit crazy, because he's like, maybe I don't have this power because I'm trying not to use it. So do I really have this power? And then so it weighs, I'm going to do it now just so I can use it. And use it.
Don't make me use it.
Right.
But I also thought if it's a single use power, maybe if I want him to use his power more often, then maybe the power is such that it depletes him completely. So basically he's like a husk or a skeleton or whatever, and then he has to sort of rebuild himself up over time before he can go out again and use the power. So somewhere between there, I'm sort of jockeying between what would give me the best story.
Did you ever? I like it. Sounds great. It makes me think a little the rechargeable, depletable power makes me think a little bit of I can't remember the character's name now, but it was the. Did you ever read the George R.R. Martin's Wild Cards?
No.
There was a character, and I can't remember the character's name. There was a character in there who had a power like that. Once it was spent, it took time to recharge.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Then my character now is he'll be dead. I don't want to steal from George, so my character was actually how he's dead.
I think it might have actually been a Lou Shiner character.
Once he uses it, it's over. So this better be the right time to use it. Otherwise, and that could drive him insane, because is this the right time? And then
because here's where my anxiety about that comes from. Is I love old-fashioned notebooks. Whenever I go to a stationery store or a bookstore and I find a good notebook, I have it, and then I'm always afraid to use it because maybe this idea isn't important enough for that notebook. And I might not ever find this great notebook again. So I have stupid anxiety, but that's, if I translate that into a 15-year-old person, that's the anxiety.
I love it.
Logan remembers the character from Wild Cards, Croyd.
Croyd, there we go.
Yeah, it was the character's name.
I don't remember it.
Yeah, they did. This is a lot of the books, but the first couple of them were really good anthologies. A lot of Lou Shiner was involved with it. I can't remember if Joe Lansdale was part of that group or not. He hung out with them. I know a lot of the shows. Nancy Collins was part of the group.
Right.
Yeah.
I know a lot of good people came out of that group.
Yeah.
And went on to other things. And he does more of those before he does Game of Thrones.
Yes, he does. Yeah,
he did one. I think one came out like a couple of years ago.
Yes, yeah. He hadn't finished Game of Thrones, and he did the Wild Cards. Yeah. Geekview Tavern says, "Happy Turkey Day, y'all."
Likewise.
Turkey Day.
The worst of the bird meats.
Mm-hmm.
Nice to see you swing by here and say hello to us. Thank you for hanging out a little bit with us. All right. Well, that was fun, you guys.
Thank you.
Good time.
Yeah. I think, like I said, I think if you're creating characters, you should have a list of things like that. Like I said, I use the Myers-Briggs. I don't use it for all of my characters, but I use it for the primary characters because I want to get a solid grip on their personality so that I don't stray from what they do.
There's another resource too, is that you can find this online. It's Dungeons and Dragons character sheets.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
For role-playing games. It doesn't have to be Dungeons and Dragons. It can be any other role-playing game, but they list you a lot of characteristics that you should be thinking about.
Yes.
For your characters.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's a lot of good character creation resources like that. And there's other the personality type. There's the four humors, which is more of the older thing. And there's something else I've forgotten right at the moment.
Well, one of the things these things are also really good. Like if you're stuck for an idea, like I don't have a story or whatever, just start creating character sheets.
Yep.
Just start generating stuff. I mean, you may not ever use any of them, but you'll find your brain is now being tricked into thinking about what you can do with the characters that you're creating, and it'll sort of one thing will lead to another. So if you're stuck on ideas or stuck on what to do, just start making up characters.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that was fun, guys and gals and gal. David Escuro says, "Happy Thanksgiving. Have a great Thanksgiving." Oh, thank you, David.
For those who want to eat the bird meats, have a great day.
Yeah, I'm planning to eat the bird meats and the field grown orbs.
What?
You mean the tubers?
Right. Yeah.
Oh.
Use your words, Roland. They're in the dictionary.
All right. Let's see here. You know what we did? We're everybody good to be here next Sunday?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Tuesday and Wednesday, they are both taking off for Thanksgiving, which is Thursday. So everyone have a good Thanksgiving. I don't know. I don't have a topic yet. We'll create one, but we will be back here next week. Same bat time, same bat channel, and we'll discuss something. What it is, I don't know yet, but we'll come up with something. What do you say, Tommy?
Make
mine
Silverline.
Thank you, everyone, and have a good.
Hey, I'm G-Rod. Make mine Silverline. You heard me.